Welcome back to Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, where today, I'm walking down a dark road. The road of Tom, author of such things as Sonic.exe, a story that inspired a generation to not only move that story over to the Trollpasta wiki, but also create fan sequels. Among those sequels, this is one of them. So for all the people who have been requesting it, today on Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, we're going to try and figure out the plot of Sally.exe. I'm a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, like a lot of people. This was written before Boom, just for clarity on that, but I narrowed down to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows though, because I think the rest Sega had spawned was rat crap. Each to their own, so you love the Sonic cartoons. This should make for a very interesting video game related creepypasta then. I was browsing eBay the other day. Unrelated, but okay. I wondered if there would be any items about my favorite character from the series, Sally Acorn. Indeed, what I found was a plushie, plushie that was manufactured in Sega World of Sydney, which closed down due to lack of visitors in 2006, which is wrong because I looked it up and it was closed down in 2000. But, you know, we're gonna let bygones be bygones on that one. Those Sally plushies were very rare though, but I didn't have the money to buy her, and my parents would despise me for it. Despise him for what, you ask? Author didn't say, so we're never gonna know, but I examined the plushie for a while, as the article came with pictures. This Sally even had her jacket, aka her only accessory thing. On it was written with permanent marker, God. I didn't really know what it meant. Words and definitions are a no-go, so everyone watch out. But they were probably the initials of the child owning her before they sold her. You know, everyone's favorite child, God. I clicked the back button to return to the Sonic Sally search, knowing I wouldn't win the auction anyway, only to find another article had appeared, quote-unquote in all caps, Sonic Sadam cartoons all episodes, with the price of $1 on instant buy. Oh, there's no way that this could possibly be a trap. But the Satam DVDs were never released where I came from, and since you don't specify a location, I'll assume it's hell, but bummer, in parentheses. So as happy as I was, I wanted to rewatch the show and checked out the article. Whatever you say, man, it's your special day. It had no description, with a B, and it also had no address where it came from. Germany, Canada, etc. That's like the whole world right there. But to top it all off, the shipping price was stated to be free. Imagine the savings. I looked up at the photo of the article. It was a blank CD. Of course it was a blank CD. And author, of course, decided to buy it anyways. Not just for nostalgia. But the writing was great, and I loved Robotnik in the series. Good for you. Well, dots. It all started when the mail arrived. It all started right here. Those other paragraphs, not canon apparently, they didn't happen, go ahead and forget them. But the mail arrived, and the story began. It arrived the next morning. Oddly, it was Sunday. More dots. You know, for not being Tom, you emulate his style quite well. Kudos. I was happy, though, to receive the episodes and immediately put the blank CD into my laptop, starting the DVD. Sadly, the DVD didn't start, though. I'll speculate it's because you put a blank CD into your laptop, and that CD may or may not, in fact, be a DVD. I'm not there, I don't know. Luckily, though, well, it didn't start. It offered me to show the files. Whatever that means. So I opened the folder and saw a bum-dum-dum Sally.exe application. I was confused at it being an EXE, but it started anyway. And indeed, it was playing Sat AM episode. The episode, quote-unquote, Hooked on Sonics, damn you phonics, began. The episode started out all normal, along with the intro. No blood or anything. Really smooth save on the author's part there, god damn it. The sad thing was, though, that my computer blue-screened when the kissing scene of Sonic and Sally started, which the author gives us a little description of in case you weren't already scared. Parentheses. When Sally walks over to Sonic and kisses his cheek, he calls her kiss not so good, and grants her a better one. And it was so cute too, end of parentheses. The computer rebooted, and I took out the no longer DVD CD. Alright, as I thought it malfunctioned and threw it away. I could have asked the person to give me my money back, but he can keep the $1. All of them. All the $1. I mean, it's just $1. I continue to normally browse the internet, being normal and stuff. Speak to friends on Skype and all. God, I hope the plot shows up soon. Nothing was wrong until when I was watching a random YouTube video, my cursor, and in parentheses, the white arrow in case you don't know, author busting out some really technical information for everyone, but his advanced arrow selection unit device began to completely spaz out. I disconnected my mouse, but the cursor continued to thrash around the screen like a monster. I even deactivated my touchpad, which I also own apparently. I didn't mention it earlier because it wasn't important, but I own one. And it continued. I don't know why I even brought up the touchpad now. Suddenly, it came to a stop, and I carried on, ignoring what had happened. Obviously the best solution. You don't really have to address plot points if you just ignore them completely. Good stuff. Soon, I found myself downloading a ROM for Sonic the Hedgehog. Why? I don't know, it seems like the author is just going through the motions of doing really mundane shit, but author says it's a fun game. As soon as it had downloaded, I started up my emulator and begun the game in windowed mode. You rebel, but oddly, the computer screen went black. I shrugged it off and waited for the game to start. You're really a go-getter, you know that? The familiar Sega jingle didn't sound. Well, it did, I just lied to you, signed the author, but it slowed down so much. It sounded demonic, and it gave me a cringe. The background remained black, and Sonic didn't run past the logo. It faded to black, remember the color black? And some text appeared. I first thought it was a red font, but it looked like it was scratched in my computer screen. Up for round 2? Said a quote? I blinked and flinched as the main screen came on. The sky was dark gray and the clouds looked dull and black. Oh, you mean gray? Okay. But the clouds looked like they would right before a thunderstorm. The mountains were decayed, and so was the logo. It even looked partially rusted. I was amazed at the pixely detail, but it also scared me. See, get this you guys. Sega 1991 was replaced with Sega 666, and the water was bloody red. Smelled of iron. The familiar music wasn't playing either, it was just a 16-bit mess of sounds. The demonic Sega occasionally mixed in, also author included. Instead of Sonic showing up, 2 characters appeared next to the logo, Tails and Knuckles. The sight of them terrified even more. It was so scary that words got left out of that sentence, but Tails' eyes were black, and they were bleeding dots. His fur had become dull gray black. So, white? And he had an expression of anguish on his face, from the white thing. But Knuckles looked far worse. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray. Fantastic color palette you have lined up for this story, I just want to say real quick. But his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding like Tails, because... And he had a look of sadness on his face. Just then, I noticed a new character pop up out of the middle of the logo. A pink, bubbly little hedgehog poked her head out. I hope it's Big the Cat. At first, she was smiling, but then frowned at what was around her. She looked confused and nervous, like she didn't really know what was going on, and you know what? I can relate. But author interjects. Amy Rose, he thought? What is this all about? He quoted from himself. Curiosity drove me to press enter. A short, yet loud static noise sounded, and the screen faded. I wish I hadn't done so. Yeah, well, hindsight's 20/20, Captain Curiosity. In quotes, though. Kyle didn't want to play with me. The writing appeared again. What a shame, but I can play with you, right? The demonic Sega jingle sounded again as, for a split second, an image flashed. It disappeared too fast, so I couldn't make it out. Usually the point of having a flashing fast image, so you can't see it, but whatever. I could swear, though, that I saw a red and black Sonic with red and black eyes. Not DeviantArt Sonic. I almost felt them pierce me, though, and that moment made me jump. It didn't begin in Green Hill Zone Act 1, though. I wish it did, though. Instead, the title card read, "Not Perfect Act 1. Really edgy shit, guys. The game begun. The ground looked like the normal Green Hill Zone, but the background was pitch black. It was the only color we could afford. Amy stood normally where Sonic would be in the original game. Surprisingly, that was a well-made sprite. It wasn't her original self, but her current self. It looked official, even. Hey, that's great. Where's the story? Moving forward, I hope, on the opposing side of the screen where Amy was at, there was a large silver ring. In front of the ring stood the sprite of Sonic, with a smile on his face. The animation of Amy standing there was that she started towards with a lovey-dovey expression as hearts came from her head here and there. I guess I should head to Sonic, I thought as I moved Amy towards Sonic, but Sonic ran away and jumped into the ring, escaping from Amy, a very sane move on his part, though the author unfortunately made Amy go in the ring after him, as Sonic is nothing without his stalker. The level teleported to one of the stages where you can get a Chaos Emerald. Oh, you mean most of them? Well, that narrows things down a bit for the reader. The background was pink and love hearts all over, and it looked cute, allegedly, but I was distracted by only having 4 red-white colored spheres to jump on, and I tried to balance Amy on top of it as she desperately tried to keep on top of the spheres, but my controls slipped and Amy fell. Great, this whole fucking thing is starting to fall apart now. But I fell onto a walk of gold spheres. Just as I thought I'd teleport back, a loud shriek sounded, and the image of this, demonic Sonic continued to flash over the screen. The screen completely spazzed out, and I heard shrieks. Loud shrieks. I fucking get it. But from what I could swear, you watch your mouth, it was Amy Rose herself. I kept hearing no, no, and loud cries of agony and pain, which abruptly ended with more static for a split moment before the screen cut to black. Well, hey, way to not do anything to help. Soon, the title screen appeared again. Knuckles and Tails were missing, but instead, Amy appeared. She was smiling her usual cute smile, but her body had holes. Oh goody, a biology lesson, goddammit. So, these holes, they weren't bleeding holes or bullet holes, holes in one, etc. Just holes that pierced her all over. Her colors faded to a dull black and white. Even her eyes looked oddly disfigured. Don't go into detail about that or anything though. God forbid you'd want to keep someone interested at this point in the story. This scared me so much my entire body began to itch for some unexplained reason. I scratched myself over and over as a new character appeared. I frowned upon seeing Cream, a common phenomenon for one to go through, who had a sheer terrified expression and huddled against the logo for comfort. Hardly a good place to huddle, but whatever. Poor Cream. I wanted to quit the game, but as if forced, I hit start, you mean enter, again, and the screen faded to black. Wow, another fade to black? What can't this game do? Kind and Fair Act 1 is the start of this next paragraph. The stage was blank now, and the background music was a drowned-sounding, slower version of the Green Hill Zone. It nearly made me gag, but something forced me to play. The unfortunate fate of a stupid creepypasta main character. The stage begun, and Cream's sprite was like Amy's. Very well done, author taking the time to appreciate the tiny things in life. The environment was childish. It looked like a cute cutout. In front of Cream was the TV box that gave you higher speed. I made Cream crouch down and do a spin dash, and I dashed ahead, crashing the box. The level didn't change. The ground was a solid platform, and it seemed that Cream was going faster, faster, and she crashed more boxes. I thought they were TVs, but more boxes, dots, and more 6 dots. I noticed. The music got completely out of sync, which scared me. Suddenly, Cream crashed into the wall of spikes. A loud splat sounded, which didn't even sound like it would belong in a 16-bit game, which is a good thing that this is on a CD, DVD disc instead, huh? Poor Cream, though. she was torn to shreds. A wall of spikes will do that to someone. Blood dripped from the spikes and the bloodied rabbit as the background slowly began to melt in front of my eyes. Don't do acid, kids. The image flashed again, and soon the title screen appeared. As expected, I was back on the title screen. These things do tend to happen. And Cream appeared with Amy. She did look scared, but her other eye was, how do I put it? Droopy and dead and bled of black goo. Sophisticated. Her ears were over her face now, instead of the back of her head. Her color scheme, that's not a word, changed from brown and orange to a very, very dark purple and red. Her dress was dull gray. Yuriofwind continued to not care about any of the color-related stuff going on. Is there a plot in this story, please? Time for the third character. Need to pad this story out some more after all. And God, did I want to cry and weep, perhaps sob, when I saw Sally.exe pop out of that goddamn logo, putting on her innocent smile as she waved towards me, like she liked me, like she didn't know what torture would happen to her. She's going to be in this stupid story with everyone else. But the game was so terrifying, and yet so fascinating. But I wanted to stop real bad. But my hand wouldn't budge. That would be plot convenience, and this isn't what this story is about. I even started shaking though. I wanted to reach for the power button, turn the darn thing off, go write a story about it maybe. But my hand just wouldn't move, and before I knew it, I had already hit start, enter, and the screen faded. Act 9! We skipped a lot of things. Act 9, it said. A dull melody played in the background as the silhouette of the ground and a sprite silhouette that resembled Sally appeared in front of the background that consisted the whole group. Amy, Cream, Knuckles, Tails, and Robotnik. Well, that's pretty much the entire Sonic universe right there in one room. But they had appeared, all in their tortured forms with a saddened expression. It also had Sonic, but in a nearly unrecognizable way. He had a wide grin on his face with razor-sharp teeth. He had black eyes with red dots for pupils, was something already established, but they're bleeding now. It also looked like he could reach out to the silhouettes in front of him. I tried to move Sally! Also, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm genuinely confused about the things that are going on right now, so bear with me. Anyway, save Sally! Get her out of there! But each wall wouldn't budge. There are walls now, also. And Sally would do a pushing animation. I stopped in the middle as, to my horror, the stage began to shrink and its black started to close in on Sally. I tried moving her again, but the new confangled walls wouldn't budge or move. I walked Sally back to the middle as the walls closed in on her from somewhere. She crouched down before she completely disappeared in the black. Splat. Great use of the character, not Tom. The red writing appeared on the screen again, only it was dripping like blood. You remember that blood thing, don't you guys? And it was crooked. Sonic, my love, it said. Suddenly, a familiar scene faded in. I recognized it immediately. Sonic Satam was playing from where the CD cut off. Oh my god, they found the plot. But it had a reddish shade, and Sonic had those black, bleeding demonic eyes. Sally looked even worse, at least to me. Her eyes were missing. It was like they were taken out. Well, don't go jumping to conclusions now. But Sally's skull was sewed closed again. Because that happened once before, apparently. Blood was running from her wound. It didn't look Photoshop. Me leave out words. It was actually animated. Oh, so it's a video. Got it. Sonic pulled Sally over, like in the show. Only tentacle-like dots things appeared out of their mouths and locked. That's right, things got real fucking weird real fast. They were making disgusting slurping noises. I could even see them bulge in Sally's throat. Huh? Worst thing was that they even looked like they were enjoying it. And for a moment, I think I was too. We're learning something about the author today. But I could see the corrupted Tails and Knuckles in the background too. Sonic pulled away and quoted stuff. So, not bad. Sally simply replied. I gagged and looked away from the screen. Yuriofwind looked down on you in shame. Out of the corner, I noticed something on my bed. Dots on my bed. Dots was the Sally doll I saw on eBay. Dots with its eyes missing. And since there's no more words, I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say that the story is done and we're all alive. And you guys, I kind of feel confused. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really think I grasp what happened in the story, but I do feel really tired. So I think I'm gonna go lay down. I'm sorry if the story caused any of you pain, but we made it out of it alive, and not many can say that. This has been Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to Slate, where I hope you enjoyed this President's Day video on Sally.exe, which is a stupid story that I read for you, and I hope you enjoyed this stupid story that I read for you. That one was requested for a long time. A lot of people wanted me to delve into the stupid world of Tom again, so that one was for you, because I care. It was bad. The worst part is, though, is that it gets worse, but, you know, that's for a later time. For now, let's just do Slatey things, shall we? So, first thing I'll do is recommend the last video I did on this channel, or the last video I uploaded on this channel, and that was a Gaming Mysteries on the beta of Paper Mario, or Super Mario RPG 2, which was its original name. The other two videos are just going to be two random ones I threw up there. At the bottom of the screen, there's social stuff. You can follow Nico, who does the art for the channel, or you can follow me, or you can not follow me, I don't know. And then, you know, for the subscribing, the liking thing, as always, you're free to do so. It's greatly appreciated, because it helps, but I'm not gonna beg you to do it. Only do so if you want to do so. And, with that in mind, I'm off for the day. As I said in the video, I'm tired. This story was not good. It made me sleepy. So I'm gonna go take another nap, because that was recorded a different day, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye-bye.